What's up, my people? This is the spot where you get real talk about real life from real brothers. Lock in, stay tuned in while we heal out loud. Welcome to Brother to Brother. Thanks for tuning in to another great episode of Brother to Brother. I'm your host, Ray Marr, one of the creators of this podcast. The topic that my brother Jamal and I chose for this episode has had a profound impact on my own family, and that's fatherhood behind bars. Did you know that 1 in 9 black children in America has a parent behind bars? That's not just a statistic. That's a generation growing up missing a voice, a hug, a lesson. And for too many black men, daddy becomes a word they have to live up to from a place built to break them. But even inside prison walls, fatherhood doesn't stop. It just gets harder. On this episode of Brother to Brother, we're talking to the men who are still trying, still writing letters, still calling home, still praying their kids remember who they are and why they matter. This ain't about excuses. It's about responsibility. It's about love, the kind that fights to exist even when freedom is taken away. Today we shine a light on the silent struggle of fatherhood behind bars and the brothers who refuse to give up. But first, before we jump right in, let me say this. We acknowledge the heavy burden carried by fathers behind bars, the pain of separation, the silence of missed moments, the ache of watching your children grow up from a distance. But we also recognize the strength it takes to keep showing up, to write those letters, make those calls, and hold on to love in a place designed to strip it away. Being a father in prison is a quiet kind of courage. It's loving without holding, teaching without touching, protecting without presence. To every incarcerated man fighting to be more than a number, to be a father, a guide, a source of love, we see you. Your pain is real, your strength is greater, and your role as a father still matters, even here, even now.
This call is from a correction facility and is subject to monitoring and recording.
DC Walker.
Thank you for using Global Tellink.
What's going on, Mr. Walker? I want to start off by saying thank you for what you're about to share and for allowing me to ask questions that can be triggering. Still, I want to reassure you that we're here to listen and allow you to be transparent as possible.
No problem at all, bro.
I don't want to know why, but I do want to know how long you've been locked up.
I've been incarcerated for the last 40 years.
How did you feel the moment you realized you be parenting from behind bars?
When I first got locked up, and I had 3 children there at the time, and so for me, everything, this is my first time I've been locked up and stuff, so everything my whole world just came down on me, and me being a father in prison and everything, first thing I was like, dang, I wouldn't get to see my children for I don't know how long or whatever, and my biggest fears was them growing up without me and even looking at some other man as dad when I was still alive, but I wasn't able to do anything for them, as far as be with them and help raise them, really.
What does being a father mean to you, and has that definition changed during your time inside?
Yeah, it has changed since I've been in jail and everything. But being a father to me is like being able to be there physically, emotionally, and mentally as well for the child to help bring them up and also to guide them and be that path that they follow because they see that their father is leading them in the right path or whatever. And the main thing is being able to provide for them in all aspects, to nurture them, to build up their self-esteem and everything, and just everything really.
Do you feel like you're still able to have a meaningful relationship with your child or children?
Yeah, you can have a meaningful relationship with them and everything, but at the same time, the world is rough, man, and when they go outside and try to navigate around the corners and everything, your words are just words really because you're not there with them. And even since I've been locked up, I've lost a child. So
I'm sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah, parenting is good and everything, and one can fake himself out and make it seem as if he's a great father because you may talk to him every day on the phone and stuff like that. I even had a visit on the weekend because I had all of that. But still, your physical presence is necessary, man. And I felt as though on that aspect I felt because I wasn't there physically. And it's always a time where you think about what if what woulda, shoulda, coulda, and it's just something that you just can't answer because the world has changed a whole lot since I've been locked up and everything. It's changed it on a daily basis. Kids ain't the same as they were back in the 80s when when I was a teenager or whatever. Things are different, man. If you're not there with them or whatever, they at certain points they have to navigate on their own and try to become what they feel as though is necessary because you're not there. You can't give them the tools for something that you don't know anything about.
How often are you able to speak or write to your kids?
Every day. I'm able to speak to them every day by phone calls. I'm able to email them every day. I even do the old-fashioned way, handwriting letters. I have a good relationship with them, but still, that physical presence isn't there. I'm even a grandfather now. It's rough. You can do your part. You can do your part. I'm not saying that just because a person is locked up, they should not try. You got to try. You got to keep trying. But I'm just saying it's rough. It's rough even if you're out there. So being locked up is even harder.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Do you ever worry about how your children see you?
Not so much how they see me because if you leave to my son, I'm the greatest and everything. But it's just the absence. It's certain emotions that they haven't even touched on since I've been locked up or whatever. Because if you look at my personal situation, I've been locked up since mine was like 1 and the other one was going on 2. So it's a big gap. This is what they know of Dad. Things they hear, what they see when they come on the visits and by us writing each other throughout, the course of my stay here. So it's a big difference. And then me leaving when they was teenagers or something like that, it's different. This is what they know. Locked up just as long as I have, really.
Have you learned anything about being a father since being incarcerated?
Basically, that I look at my upbringings or whatever. Basically, that you can't be their best friend, but at the same time you got to be a friend because they have to trust you. They have to think that they can confide in you and come to you when they need to talk about certain things. Because back in the day, everybody, like the old saying, a man ain't supposed to cry and all that type of stuff. I see that as wrong now, looking back on things. But I tell my children and my nieces and nephews and everything who I'm active in their life as well. You got to be able to talk to somebody. You got to have somebody that you can trust, that you can, just put it all on the table because it may be something I don't like, but at the same time, I'm going to respect the fact that you came to me and I'm going to try to help you as best as I can to navigate through it. So I learned that you just got to be open and honest with them and vice versa. You can't be a friend. They got to know when, they got to know when Dad is talking and they got to know when they can confide in you about anything else as well without, Dad coming down on them like, hey, you can't do that, You got to be more understanding.
So what do you hope your children understand about your situation?
I hope that they realize that even at your best, anything can happen to you. You can be taken away from this world. You can be snatched up and locked up for something that you didn't do or whatever. Because guilt by association is a large part of why a lot of guys are here. And so they just have to learn how to navigate and be independent thinker and stand on their own and make their own decisions, because at the end of the day, they're the only ones that's going to pay the price, them and their children when they have kids. A lot of us is influenced and like, some people look at the word peer pressure and think it's about somebody putting pressure on you, but that's not what it's about. Peer pressure is just what you see, growing up or whatever, you see everybody else swinging out at 12 o'clock or whatever, you got to be in the house at 10. And that's pressure alone right there for a parent or whatever, where your kids think, well, why I got to go in? Well, you trying to guide them as best you can, but then you got all their friends is being raised differently. Everybody's raised differently, man, and that's another part of the fight right there alone, and that's in a positive way, where the other person's raising their kids and you trying to raise yours, but you know that after 12 ain't nothing for no young kids to be out there for, but everybody's out there now.
What kind of support do you receive from your family, your co-parent, or the prison system to help you in your role as a father?
Well, like I say, my mom, she's a legend. She does it all. She's mother, father, grandfather, partner, the whole nine. And and I'm thankful for her, because at the end of the day, that's that's my backbone. She makes sure I had a relationship that I had with all my family members, you know, especially the young ones that wasn't even wasn't even born when I got locked up. You know, my brothers and them, everybody's trying to make it seem like, you know, times change, things change, and stuff like that. And everybody's struggling, man. So we all trying to figure out how to navigate through everything and make each other struggle a little easier. But some people just feel as though, well, I got mine, I got to worry about. And you can't fault them at the end of the day, man. So I don't hold no ill will toward anybody. It is what it is. I do what I can do and try to do the best of it. You know, we're backwards at certain points, man, even though I'm locked up. Financially, I don't look for nothing for them or nothing. I make do with what I do.
So do you believe that did the prison system try to even help you in this role as a father?
They have a program called Hope, and it's about helping youth parent and everything like that. But that's just a label that they get where they get money off of. It's not really an open forum for us to really try to raise our kids and stuff like that. Back in the day, they used to even have a program where they used to go get the kids or whatever and bring them. That doesn't exist no more, you know. And so they have programs that make it seem good, but there's no better way than being there for them. But as far as them teaching the person how to be a parent, that's just a guideline for them. They can't teach me how to raise my son in the hood, and they never been in the hood. You know, that's just, you know, that's almost like writing a book about being a parent and you ain't never had any kids. That's how I see it. Don't mean to sound negative, but it's just the hard reality.
What would you say to another incarcerated man struggling to stay connected with his children?
Try to do all he can. Try to do all he can to stay connected with the kids or whatever, and don't blame the mother for what she's doing, or try to even use her as a scapegoat for your shortcomings. You know, some of us don't belong here. Some of us, we did what we did, and we here. You just got to man up and own your own, man, and you know, and be a parent. But at the same time, you got to let them know that they can trust you and they can talk to you about anything. Because if they can't confide in you, who else they gonna confide in? They got their best interest in heart.
What legacy do you want to leave as a father?
I would love to leave a legacy that, you know, their dad was a stand-up person, and he believed whatever he believed, and he stood for that, and he was always there for him the best way he could be. He's not being locked up.
Max, this last question, brother. If your child listening to this episode one day, what message would you want them to hear from you?
I would like for them to know that even though it's rough out there, they have to be an independent thinker and stand on their own. Don't follow the crowd, because the crowd ain't where it's at. You got to find your own niche, and if you're passionate about something, stand on that and believe in what you do, and you can be successful and not come through this type of area.
Again, I thank you, bro. I thank you for sharing, man. I really appreciate your time, man. I appreciate it,
No
bro.
problem at all, bro. And wish you many success, bro.
Thank you.
All right, peace.
Peace. Brother Walker said he was incarcerated for 40 years. I can only imagine the profound impact that this prolonged absence has had on his family. He has been away from his children since they were pretty much born, and they have had children of their own, and also the loss of one of those children. I send you and your family nothing but prayers of healing. Brother Walker, thank you again for sharing. Again, we're talking to fathers and what it takes to navigate fatherhood from behind bars.
This call is not private. It will be recorded and may be monitored. If you believe this should be a private call, please hang up and follow facility instructions to register this number as a private number.
To accept this free call, press 1. To refuse this free call, press 2. Thank you for using Securus. You may start the conversation now.
Who do I have the pleasure of speaking with?
Ibn.
Ibn?
Yeah. But they call me Trap, though.
Okay, bro. So basically, I don't want to know why, but if you don't mind sharing, how long have you been incarcerated?
4 years.
How did you feel the moment you realized you'd be parenting from behind bars?
It hurts. I feel bad, but only thing I could do is take it day by day. Take it day by day, talk to my kids, make sure they okay. As long as they okay, then I'm okay.
What does being a father mean to you, and has that definition changed during your time inside?
Being a father is everything. It changed drastically. Like I went from being there every day to not being around and just having a voice, and sometimes I just feel like that's not enough. You know, they need us to be there.
Do you feel like you're still able to have a meaningful relationship with your child or children?
Say that one more time.
Do you feel like you're still able to have a meaningful relationship with your child or children?
Yes, because I'm not going. I'm not going to be gone forever, and it's not the end. I always could pick up where I left off at and make better, and not make the same mistakes I did from the first time.
How often are you able to speak or write to your children, and what do those moments mean to you?
I'm blessed to say that I can speak to them every day, and I write them from time to time, but I speak to them every day. Ask them how their day went in school. You know, I'm interested. Ask them what they learned, what was their favorite part of school, things like that. And if it's the weekend, I speak to them most every time. But I just show that I'm interested and see how their day is going, see how they can make their day better.
Do you ever worry about how your children see you or will remember this period in their lives?
Yes, I worry about it every day, but I can't let my past decisions dictate how I treat them, how much I love them, nor let it dictate my future.
Have you learned anything about being a father since being incarcerated that you wish you had known before?
Oh man, I just wish I wish I was there. Like every moment is not around them. It's crazy. Like it's been hard. I just wish I didn't make the same. I just wish I didn't make the mistake that I made before, man. Because missing out of their life is just that's a lot, and it's hurtful for real.
How do you try to be a positive influence on your children even while you're physically absent?
I tell them to pay attention in school. No talking back, because I can't have them make the same mistakes that I made. I can't have them make any mistakes. So I use myself as an example, so they won't end up being behind bars, incarcerated, or in trouble.
What do you hope your children understand about your situation?
I hope they understand that this part right here is not life. That their father made a mistake, and it's not over. It gets greater later.
What kind of support do you receive from your family, from the mother, or the prison system to help you with your role as a father?
There's a program here. They call it Recap, but it's like Hope. I don't know the I think it's the acronyms for it, but that's the program where you have like a 3-hour visit twice a month. You get to run around the gym, eat with the kids, and it's a book that they also give you when you complete the class, like just teaching you how to be a better father. Like, so I'm thankful for that program, to be honest, because the regular visits you just sit in the gym for 2 hours and you sit in one spot. But that Hope visit, you can actually get to run around with them. You don't really see the officer, so it kind of sort of make them forget that you were incarcerated.
Do you think those programs and resources in the prison help men stay involved in their children's lives?
Yes, I do.
What would you say to another incarcerated man struggling to stay connected with his children?
Oh, man, I would tell them try to make amends if it's not, because you know some kids' moms use the kids as a pawn. So I would basically try to talk to them, and let them know to try to make up with their kids' mom, so they can see the kids, because it's much more important than that. It's much more important than us not being there. Like, we're missing out on everything.
What legacy do you want to leave as a father?
Oh man, I want a business. Like, I want to drive trucks. I want to show my kids that a life in prison is not the life that you want to live. A life in prison, just period, just even going to jail and messing up your record for something so small that it's not worth it.
If your child listens to this episode one day, what message would you want them to hear from you?
I want them to know that their father really loves them and that I care. And if they hear this episode, that it'll open their eyes to know that I always wanted better for myself, so I can provide better for them.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Thank you for sharing, man. I appreciate your time, brother. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, big bro. You're welcome.
Appreciate it. Like I said in the beginning, fatherhood from behind bars has also impacted my family as well. You know, from Jamal to my own child. My son has been incarcerated for some time now. I would like for you guys to hear his perspective on his challenges he's dealing with being a father behind bars.
This call is from a correction facility and is subject to monitoring and recording.
Thank you for using Global
No
Telling.
fuck.
What up, Mark? What's going on? What's good,
What's going on, Dad?
son? I'm good.
You alright?
Yeah, I'm good. What's going on with you? What you outside, or you inside on the
No, I'm
block?
inside. It started raining heavy, so I can't even go out there, man. So I just stayed in here.
Okay.
I was trying to go out there, but thunderstorm warnings and all that got in the way.
Yeah.
How everything going though? You good?
Yeah, I'm good. Everything all right. Everything good. So I just want you to introduce yourself. Let them know what's your name.
My name is Ray Mar from Son of Your Son, man. No.
How long you been incarcerated?
I've been locked up for 13 years. It's going on 13. September will be an even 13 for this year. So yeah, 13 years. Hard years, ain't easy.
How did you feel the moment you realized you be parenting from behind bars?
I mean, it's never a good feeling. It's not even just because I got a daughter. Me having a daughter, I knew it was going to even be harder, as opposed to having a son. But this parenting, either or, can just be a hardship, man, because of the distance. The distance is the most, the roughest thing on me is the distance, man. You got multiple other things you can get in contact with a person with. You use the phone, you got these video visits, but it's nothing like really being there and hands-on type of parenting. So I missed out on that completely, and I'm still missing out on that. So I think this has been hard. It's hard.
What does being a father mean to you, and has that definition changed during your time inside?
Being a father, to me, that's one of the utmost importance. I feel as though if you're not really being a father, you can't really call yourself a man. So, and I got that understanding even from you as a child. So I was always conscious of that. Like, you can't necessarily call yourself a man unless you understand what it means to be a father and actually take the right steps to being a father. My definition of being a father definitely changed from when I first came to prison. I used to think that just being able to just, talk to him every once in a while and do little certain things was like enough, but as my daughter getting older, she's actually teaching me that being there emotionally as much as possible, always checking on her mental state, all these things is like super important and very contributing when it comes to being a father. So that definition definitely changed. It's not just necessarily about, presence is everything, but I'm doing as much as I can do from this distance. So that definition definitely changed since I came to jail.
Do you feel like you're still able to have a meaningful relationship with her?
That's one of those questions of where, yes, but to a certain extent, because like for instance, right now, what me and my daughter is trying to do, we're trying to do this vision board, because I truly believe, like, if you manifest, like if you see something every day, you tell yourself, like, good affirmations, things of that nature, you can manifest what it is that you're trying to get done. Whatever it is, whatever the thing may be for you. So me and my daughter trying to do this right now, and I caught myself when I'm on a video visit with her, and she couldn't actually hang the vision board up without putting screws into the wall, using certain tools. And at that exact moment, I was thinking, like, damn, my daughter, she don't have me there to actually do that with her. So it's moments like that that actually open my eyes to the effect of me not being present. It's definitely one of those mixed things. It's just a yes and no kind of answer.
How often are you able to speak or write to her, and what do those moments mean to you?
Sheesh, before I came to this job, I just did about 6 to 7 months in a hole. My daughter actually wrote me a letter that just, like, tore my whole mental state up concerning, staying in communication with my child, because being in that hole that long, you only subjected to one visit a month and pen and paper. And it's crazy because prior to that, my daughter didn't even know how to write a letter. So I partly blame myself, because all those years that I was spending in population, I could have easily taught her. Those times that you brought her up here to visit me, these things I could have rehearsed with her if I was being proactive. So now that I had that understanding and I went through what I went through, she wrote the letter finally. We sat down and I taught her how to do it in a whole. It's like now I'm understanding that being in contact with her is, like, very important. I have to, no matter what I do, no
matter who it is that I talk to, I have to make sure that I'm checking in on her. Just last night, last little 2 minutes left was in the day room, I had to get on the phone and just let her know I just needed to hear her voice. So it's definitely important being in contact. And it's kind of, well, it's still limited. It's still limited. You have letters, you have this phone. I would like for it to be way more, for us to be in a conversation, well, for us to communicate way more, but it's limited, man. You got letters, you got these video visits, and you got the phone. We got to make it work, though. Making it work.
How do you try to be a positive influence on her even while you're physically absent?
Just reminding myself that I'm not my mistakes and not letting those types of things get to me. You know, I'm telling her right now about positive thinking. Positive thinking is key. Like, you can't get anything accomplished in life unless you have positive thinking. It has to start with that. So as long as I stick to those and make that positive thinking thing like as a moral and it's embedded in me, and I can be able to teach her those things and it can resonate from me through her, you know? So it's just about not indulging myself with the cursing too much, not indulging myself with getting into the things that a lot of other people may be doing around me. Just trying to stay sturdy on my 10 and just staying focused and reminding her that this is just a momentary lapse. I'm not going to be here forever. You know? Letting her know to keep persevering through all the stuff that I'm going through. You know, it's just staying solid, man. And just keeping myself, and always remember that no matter what I do, I'm a reflection of her and vice versa.
What kind of support do you receive from us or the co-parent or the prison system to help you in your role as a father?
Prison system, first and foremost, is the state of PA. It's kind of horrible. They don't really have too many things in place for you to better yourself as a man before you even get out to the world. So the prison system is definitely lacking concerning that. So you kind of had to rehabilitate yourself. When you get your hands on enough information, you're able to do it. But support system as far as family, you know, I got my brothers here, I got my dad, you first and foremost, you know, so that's, to me, less is more. That's what I'm starting to understand more, because when I first came to jail, it was like I had a lot of people at the beginning, but all that stuff slowly started to fade because you realize that it's saturated, it's not really real. People that stay here these 13 years and have been here, those are the ones that set in stone, so that's the support. And it lessened over the year, but to me, less is more. It's more value. It's more of an asset. So my brother's my dad, and I got some kind of important lady, things like that. But yeah, the support system is definitely, it's there. It's strong. It's strong.
What would you say to another incarcerated man struggling to stay connected with his children?
Man, you just got to keep trying, no matter what. No matter especially when you're dealing with a teenager or just when you came to jail young and your child is growing up with you, because it's hard on you during this time too, as much as it's hard on your family on the outside. So you got kids, they know those things, but you just got to keep trying, keep calling, even if it's times where you might not be getting answers from the mother of the child or whatever that it may be. You just got to keep trying. You got to keep trying. You got to never give up. Because nobody want to see somebody that they love or they call their parent just give up on trying. You just got to keep constantly keep pushing. You got to keep trying. Perseverance, that's key.
What legacy do you want to leave as a father?
Legacy, just I had to leave anything just that I kept my morals intact. You know, that I behaved like a man no matter how much trial or affliction that I've been through. You know, no matter how many tests that the law placed upon me, that I persevered, that I stayed strong, and I ain't let it get the best of me. You know, and that I can make my daughter proud. You know, even from here. You know, just accomplishing as much as I can accomplish just to make her proud. And that's more of my legacy here. It's not a monetary thing. You know, it's not, because it's like, look where I'm at. Nothing that I can actually physically leave behind. You know, it's sad to say, but it's the reality. You know, all I have is really like my words, man, and just being a stand-up person and standing on the things that I'm saying. That's the type of legacy that I can want to leave behind.
Thank you, son. I love you, and thank you for sharing part of our story. Unfortunately, it was just a 15-minute call, and the call just ended. But these are some of the things that these fathers deal with by trying to parent from behind bars. These 15-minute calls, that's just not enough. See, being a father in prison isn't something you see on green cards. There's no guidebook for holding your child's heart when you can't hold their hand. But the men we heard from today, they're showing us what it means to love from the shadows, to lead without being seen, to show up when showing up takes everything. This episode wasn't about perfection. It was about presence, about the fathers trying to break cycles, not just chains. If you're a brother behind the wall or someone listening with a loved one locked away, know this. It's never too late to write. It's never too late to reconnect. And it's definitely never too late to be a father. Make sure you guys tune into our next episode. Me and Jamal will be talking about parentification. And parentification it's a psychological and family system term, right? It's referring to a role reversal between a parent and a child, where the child assumes responsibilities typically belonging to the parent. This phenomenon often occurred in dysfunctional families, where a parent is unable and unwilling to fulfill their caregiving role, leaving the child to step up and manage tasks or emotional burdens beyond their developmental capacity. Listen while me and Jamal dive deep into this topic. Until next time, this is Brother to Brother, where you get real talk from real brothers as we heal out loud.